Okay, I think we are live. I hope it's not too bright. I'm kind of sitting in a spot that's kind of shining off that off the white car, but whatever. Let's see. Let me make sure that check my audio. I think we're good, right? Just checking some things here. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everybody tonight. You know, happy Labor Day, I guess, right? We are definitely lagging behind here, I think. Hang on a second. Got to make sure my connection's good. Oh, we're good to go. Okay. Give me send one text message. All right. What's up, everybody? Oh, candy corn, man. I'm a sucker for candy corn. Oh, lie, y'all. Anyway, appreciate you guys joining tonight. Catch up on stuff on the channel. Haven't had very good news lately. We actually raced last weekend. We'll get into that. We'll talk about last Saturday. Was it Saturday? Did I talk about it last week? I don't think I had any footage up yet. But yeah, we raced last week. Car drove really well. Still runs like shit. But for the most part, we were pretty competitive, the white car over here. But we haven't had very good news this past week. And we'll get into that. I think my members know what's going on. We've been talking all weekend in members chat. Got some things we're going to be changing up quite a bit. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. The main topic of the night is it's going to be more than 10 things. But like as we progressed in power, I have broke so much shit. And well, that's kind of a terrible way of saying it. But like I have wore stuff out. That's actually a better way of saying it. I've wore a lot of stuff out. I broke a lot of stuff as I went from making 200 horsepower to 300 to 400 to 500, whatever, you know, getting up into the, you know, close to 1,000 with our white car and even our black car when it had the TKX. But there's some things that have definitely stood the test of time and some that haven't. And that's did a little bit of homework today. So I got a little bit of a list for y'all. Kind of like a working live stream like we used to do back in the day. Instead of just talking shit and on a random Sunday about some Foxbody stuff, you know, maybe we can we're gonna have a little bit of a discussion about some of the stuff that I broke, and then maybe you can relate to it and maybe even comment if you're reading this later on. So what's up? Big shout to my guys in green. I appreciate you guys joining me on a Labor Day weekend. I know it's kind of like a holiday weekend, so I didn't really expect a whole, you know, a big audience. So you know, we don't know, you know, we're just here. Y'all know we stream on Sundays. Well, no matter if it's Christmas or 4th of July or whatever, but I do appreciate you guys for showing up and hanging out with this old dude. So what's up, Notch Fox? Yep. Rich Long, Noel. Big shout out to my guys in green. They're my channel members. Check out that join button, guys, if you want to be part of the be part of it. So anyways, we are actively discussing 10 parts that I have broken, 10 parts that have, as I progressively made power, started to become an issue. And we're basically talking more along the lines of the engine parts. I didn't really specify that in the title, but that's okay. We're going to get into it. There, you know, some of this stuff is recent. Some of this stuff is over time. I guess the best way to start is maybe in the stock bottom end 302. And then we'll talk about the 363 and the 351 Windsor stock bottom end and the 408 that we had on the channel. So I've went through a number of push rod blocks, no big blocks, no exotic builds like the Cleaver and the Cleveland, but I definitely wouldn't mind building a Cleveland one day, but they're pretty tough to find. Windsor's quite a bit easier to get parts for and find. I do have a set of Boss like Cleveland heads sitting over here that I should just utilize. They got some big ass valves on them. I'm gonna tell you that, man. But what's up, Scott? What's up, Nathan Tuck in the house? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you today. So anyways, let's kick it off. So the very first thing, and this is probably something that that I was just talking about recently in our recent video, is a balancer. So like stock bottom end, when we were having all that fun with stock bottom end, and I got the whiteboard out for y'all this weekend. So we're gonna talk some shit real quick. We'll come back to the balancer, but this was from our, I always like to kind of revisit our old live stream. And this was our favorite first mods. I think we did this about a month ago. And people were talking, this is kind of a list of, not in any really generic form, but you know, Cobra wheels, tent nitrous, under dry pulleys, cold air, Cobra insert. This is the favorite first mods from like back in the time. Stereo, like when we were in the 90s and shit. So it's pretty cool. I always like to, before I race stuff, I always like to kind of, you know, show you guys, you know, that may not have seen it. It's a pretty cool little live stream. So yeah, Cleveland Blocks are badass. They're bringing some good money right now, because they've always been badass. They're just kind of a little bit difficult to find. You know, they only made them for so many years, whereas the Windsor, where they brought the, you know, they did the roller Windsor, they did that for a number of years, you know, and you even got different variations of it. So anyway, moving on. So I'm going to start with the balancer. And we just did a video on it. So that's a good one to start with. So when we were having all that fun back in the day with our stock bottom end builds and stuff, you know, balancer was always kind of an issue. You know, it was always kind of an iffy thing, something that, you know, we always had to keep our eye on. And the bad thing about the balancer is they like there's a rubber insert on all balancers that likes to walk. And you know, as you progressively, as these motors are getting older, you know, with the stock bottom end stuff, like just slapping in the motor into a Foxbody, you know, from another Foxbody, you know, that's one of the things you're going to want to look at. And even in the motors that you get, like it's just got to be checked. Maybe every year. Best way to check a balancer to see if it's walked a little bit, maybe put it up against another known good balancer, like I did in the video, you know, keyway to keyway, line it up nice and straight, and kind of maybe look at the, you know, is the zeros in the same spot, the 10, the 20. It's pretty self-explanatory. And that video was a perfect example this past weekend of a bad balancer that, I mean, it had walked almost 3 degrees. And that's just kind of sticking it right there on the damn table and not even really kind of miking it up. So I just, you know, eyed it in, and it was pretty much it. So as we made more power with the stock bottom end, harmonics is what kills motors, legit kills motors. You got to think stock bottom end 302 is a 50-ounce motor. It's a 50-ounce externally balanced motor. That's 3 pounds. Like, I don't know if you've ever held 3 pounds in your hand, but it's off-centered. It's offset. It's got a 50-ounce in the front, 50-ounce in the back, and you got like 6 pounds going around and around and around. So if any of that shit is off, it's going to just wreak havoc on your whole, you know, your crank balance and whatever. So that's something you want to keep an eye on. That rubber, you know, putting a new, you know, balancers aren't all that expensive. You know, $100 for a decent one, $150 for a trick flow one like I run. That's not too bad. It comes with removable weights. So even if that balancer gets put into a stroker, you can change the weights from 50 to 28 to 0. Yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff out there that's not too expensive. A couple $100 for a fluid dyne, a fluid dampener, ATI, $200 to $300. Like I said, harmonics killed, you know, balancer was definitely one good to start with, because we just did a video on it. As you progressively make more power, or even if you're just using it could be Explorer block or any sort of stock bottom end stuff, check that rubber out. I mean, the Foxbody balancers kind of like to telling themselves, and they'll start protruding that rubber out. Like, you'll literally see it cracking and all that shit. Man, that stuff is fatigued. It's on its last leg, and it's probably not even telling you the right time anyway. So we're going to put, now there's going to be more than 10, but we're going to put balancer up there, and we're going to add to it. Are you going to run a Mega Squirt? Nope. How do you get a stock 302 to 0 balance? It's very hard. Stock 302, just because of the weight, you'll spend more money trying to get a stock bottom end to 0 balance than you would just buying a forged 0 balance crank. And at that point, you got to say to yourself, well, why do you want to put an $800 Ford zero balance crank in a stock bottom end motor to begin with? So it's difficult. I think my buddy Gabe Large was just talking about that. We good? We back? Balancer. Balancer. You guys see that board? You guys hear me okay? Yeah, we back. I've never actually had it disconnect it's been years since I've had it disconnect. So every once in a while, you know, a bird flies on my damn telephone pole outside. I don't know. The shit's on it. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, I don't know if Gabe's in the chat, Gabe Large, but yeah. Anyways, balancer, one of the parts that failed me often, and it did it at stock bottom end with a 302, and it did it recently with our 363. But I will give my 363 credit. There was a trick flow street heat or whatever, that track heat thing or whatever. It was like $150 balancer. That thing had been through war, enough to mess the keyway up. So when you're taking the balancer, if you take the balancer off, I mean, like I said, Harmonics, it's a good one to start with. It's top 10 because, and this is not in any sequential order at all. I'm just starting with it. Check that keyway. Check that keyway that's on the nose of the crank too. If it's keyed over, if it's warped at all, whatever, you need to pop that thing out and get it replaced. Usually replacing a keyway with a balancer, probably a pretty good idea. If it looks okay, just run it. So, I'm going to caveat to that as well. We're going to go with the balancer and the bolt. So we're going to add the bolt to it. Guys, I've watched the bolt walk out of, I don't know how many different balancers. I could half a dozen. That thing needs to be checked often. I mean, often enough, if you run it hard, if you're running on the street, got a little mild motor or whatever, you're not really looking, it's just one of those maintenance things. Like if you got yourself like a little checklist on the wall somewhere, and like a yearly checklist, like, changing oil, checking tire pressure, balance your tires, whatever. It's nice to have if you got one Foxbody that you love the most and you do the most maintenance to, it's really easy to check, put the car in gear, put a 15, 16 socket on it, put a torque wrench on it. I think it's 80 to 100. I don't remember the specifics. Each bolt is different. Like the ARP and the stock one are a little bit different, but just check it. It's just good maintenance to check it. So imagine a flat plane crank it would be sick. Yeah. So we're going to add the bolt to it. Okay, so the second one I have on here, and this shit will, Harmonics will ruin your motor, just like we were just talking about with the balancer and the bolt and stuff. So injectors, legitimately need to be cleaned often. Now, some of the 19s and the 24s and the 36s, I've had injectors literally just stop working and literally almost melt the motor down. We've taken our 160s, which are like, I think those are like considered like liquid hydrogen injectors or whatever. We've taken them to Tom Sewell over at FID here in Northeast Ohio, fuel injector development. And he said, I don't even know how your car was running because they were literally 40% down, which is pretty dangerous. And for the amount of power that you can make with 160s and 210s, if you're making horsepower, I don't care if it's 500, if you're boosted, if you're using E85 especially, There's some top end like fluid you can use. It's called Uplon. We use a little bit of that now with our E85. Keeps our injectors clean for the most part, and they were just filthy. And a bad injector causes a misfire, causes loss of power. You won't even know it's doing what it's doing unless you were to actually take them out and get them cleaned. So it's something to consider. Now the stock ones, the nice thing for the guys with the stock ones is you can make your own cleaner, because that style of an injector is pretty easily cleaned on the home style side. If you guys want me to make a video about it, it requires literally a tire valve, some carb cleaner, and you could set it up kind of on the side and with a battery and shit. And I could show you guys how to clean your stock injectors, 24, kind of like the Ford ones, like the 24s and in the 42s. I think the 42s will follow that as we go. So what's up, OG Superfly? Good to see you. Broken Tool Garage. Lamar in the house. Good to see you guys. So yeah, injectors, I think, the 160s have failed me recently and, caused, literally wreaked havoc in my number 7 cylinder. Almost burned it down. So you guys give me one. Give me a part that's failed on you guys as you made more power. Give me a good one. Let me catch up here in chat. Oil pump drive. That's definitely a good one. Very good. Very good. Very good. So pretty cheap insurance. That's a good one there. So what happens with an oil pump drive? Inside of your motor, your distributor meets the cam gear. The cam run, the distributor run together, but there's also an oil shaft at the bottom. Oil shaft goes through the oil pump spins off the driver, the distributor. So there's a bunch of, functions there. The stock one likes to twist up like a Twizzler. If you ever take your stock motor apart, 302 or 351, and it looks, and your damn oil pump shaft looks like a Twizzler, you need to throw that out. Cheap insurance, it's $15, $20. I don't even think it's that. ARP makes a hardened steel, thicker, heavier duty oil pump drive shaft. That's a really good one. Broken Tool. That's a really good one. We actually snapped one, and this is no shit, 100% true. The white car when it was first boosted, it had a P600B. I don't know if anybody's had one of them old ass Pro Charge P600Bs, but we used to rock P600B, make like 400 horsepower. Excuse me. Stock bottom end 306, stock crank, stock rods, 30 over cheap Hyper U Tactics. We're running some entry level Edelbrock heads. I think we had a GT40 tubular at the time when they were only like $200 because they were kind of common at the time, sort of. I don't even remember what injector we had. I think we had 42s or whatever. But we was on a dyno and we were making some pulls and shit. And then for whatever reason, and I shit you not, I disconnected the oil pump feed, like the gauge. I think I was messing with something before the dyno. I said, well, I'm not going to lose any oil pressure. I'm not worried about it. It's a fresh motor. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I don't know if y'all ever said that shit before, like antifreeze and oil, whatever. It's good. It's going to be good. I don't need to hook the gauge up, whatever. Well, that was the one time that my ass made a really bad decision that day, because I didn't even know that I lost oil pressure in the middle of a dyno pull. Made a little bit of a noise, and then I just didn't pay attention to it because the damn P600B was so damn loud I couldn't hear myself. So I drove that sumbitch 20 miles all the way back to the garage, pulled it in, and it just started making all kind of goddamn racket. And it was just, and I didn't realize what I had done. And then I hooked up the mechanical one again when I got back home, and it didn't even show anything. So yeah, that oil pump drive shaft, the one time that I didn't have the gauge hooked up, literally for like half a day, wasn't even that. I don't even know what I was doing. I was rerouting shit. I don't know what I was doing. I think it was hooking up like a boost gauge or some shit. So yeah, ruined a motor. Good one. What's up, BBQ50? Good doing. Oil pump shaft. Definitely, as you make more power, if you're just rebuilding your damn motor, Even if you're just rebuilding your damn motor, change the shaft. Don't put the stock one back in. It's $20. Come on. I know budget is budget and $20 is $20, but it is what it is. I try to bring, as much as I can to the channel to some of my experiences. And I definitely like, talking on Sundays, talking some Foxbody shit with you guys and having a good time. And it's always appreciated. And I appreciate you guys' feedback. Give me another one. I bought a high volume oil pump for my budget build, and it came with a pump drive shaft. I was wondering if it was hardened or not. Just if it looks like your stock one, nah, don't run it. ARP only, unless there's something, some brand like Moroso or some shit that, ARP is just like the one who made them. They're, like I said, they're 15 or $20, 351 or 302. They'll say right on the damn package. So 100%. Rear end, what we're talking about, we're gonna be talking about engine ones, KP. This week's about engine shit. 10 parts that failed us as we made more power. I should have put 10 engine parts. That's why you got engines in the throat, in the thumbnail. Are gear drives better than a timing chain? I don't know, man. I can't really question or answer that question, to be honest with you. What's up, Gabe Large? I was just talking about you. That damn light like flickering and shit. I'll get up there and turn it the hell off. Didn't you say a couple live streams ago you tried to zero balance a 302? It is flickering, isn't it? Yep. That's a good one to go to next. Valve springs. So another thing that we've replaced recently on the channel, valve springs. So whether you're running stock 302 or whether you're running stock 302 or you're running a stroker or you're running whatever, your valve springs need to be matched to your motor. 100%. That's a good one. They need to be checked. You might as well just go ahead and replace them. I'm just going to go ahead and make the decision for you. If you still got the stock valve springs in your motor, to this day, if you're still running stock valve springs to this day, you need to change them. Get them out. You need to change them. 100%. Now, I think I'm going to move the table back a little bit. So give me a second here, boys. Because being straight under that light's kind of pissing me off. It's like flickering in my camera and it's driving me crazy. So whatever. We'll just move more towards the black car. Be all right. Whatever. Is that all right? That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Cool. Move my. I used to run with one of them. I had somebody on the channel send me one. I used to have one of the whiteboard stands, but it got all effed up at the Ford takeover. I think we kicked it and shit. So valve springs, we on valve springs, good one. So if you're running stock valve springs, if you're running stock cylinder heads right now, and you got GT40, man, it's still flickering. Y'all see that? If you're still running GT, if you're running still stock springs, and if you're still running, you need to get them checked. If you're running aftermarket heads and you haven't changed your, checked your springs in a couple of years, it just depends on what you kind of rev it to. But mainly speaking about 302s, GT40 heads, if you ever get some GT40 heads, you want to put them on your motor, that's a great upgrade. Great upgrade. Throw them springs in the trash. Throw them in the trash. They'll work good for a stock cam to like 5,500 RPM, and then your motor will just take a dive right over the damn side of the hill. Trick Flow makes a kit, 2500-100. It's a 2500-100 kit. It's a drop-in install height 1.8. It's a good kit. Yeah, we're going to pull them bulbs out. If they're flickering, that means they're bad. Just give me a sec. These damn things have been. These things needed to be replaced a while ago. So I'll be damned if I watch that all the time. Let's try not to drop it. Yay! Ain't flickering no more. Now if I don't fall, bust that thing, that'd be good. Yeah. Ain't no damn flicker no more. Let me go ahead and secure that properly. Yeah. That better? That's better. Yeah? Fixed it. Is that better? A little bit darker, but that's okay. That flickering was driving me crazy, and it's probably driving y'all crazy. So, what do you say? No pimp. When I smoke the car, it's coming. Oh, Google said it's a common. Okay, so what did he ask? I leak air through my TPS sensor, but it still works. What? Yes, I was asking for. It was asking. Yeah. So whoever asked earlier about trying to zero balance a stock bottom N306 or stock crank, yeah, it was asking for 8 or 9 slugs of Mallory. That ain't happening, bro. So we're talking about. Listen, we're talking about engine parts. 10 parts that fail as you make more power. Someday I'll grab a new TPS if it fixes. Someday. Any thoughts on installing? Any thoughts on any thoughts after installing a 255 fuel pump when opening the gas cap it hisses with pressure? Okay, so stop what you're doing. It's not your fuel pump. Number one, there's a vent on top of your motor. God, there's a vent on top of your gas tank. What happened is when you installed that gas tank, most likely you were on the ground, like the car was on the ground, you weren't on a lift or whatever. You gotta make sure that your vent, it doesn't get pinched against the floor, and it can happen. It's very easy. Best thing to do, is to make a bigger vent for your motor, but that's whatever. If you got the stock, I'm like pointing at it and like I'm working on it and shit. Anyways, you got a vent on top of your gas tank. Make sure it's not clogged, and make sure that the hose is free. Or, the hose goes up to the smog hose or whatever, because it could be clogged. What's happening is you're building up too much pressure inside of your tank. So you're pumping, fuel and it's returning, but air is not going anywhere. What I like to do is I have big vents on both of my tanks. I still run stock tanks in both my black and my white car, but they've been modified quite a bit. So those stock springs not even good for a stock cam. Yep. If you got stock springs, and we just got done talking about valve springs. If you got stock valve springs, throw them out. 25100 Trick Flow sells a 2500-100 install kit. Literally is a drop-in kit for GT40 and E7 heads. Your motor will wake up. I'm telling you, you're down 30 horsepower right now if you got stock springs in your car still. Listen, those things have been in that car for 35 years under tension. I don't care if your car got 33 miles on it. It's like tires. You expect tires last forever? No, man. They're under tension too. So keep that in mind. Hanlon Motorsports with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Smash that up, bros. Appreciate you, Hanlon. What's up, pimp in the house? So Hanlon, we will need some banners. I'm going to send Garrett the one. I think it kind of stuck together. The edges all stuck together. So we'll get that fixed. We're going to give away a Tremec banner this week or tonight. So we were going to give away an Anderson cam, but I want to save that for another. I don't know. It's a good weekend to do it, but I want to save that for another day. I don't know. I got some other shit I'm going to give away too. Send over there. But anyway, I'm going to send Garrett a Tremec one with it just because, just because. Garrett Leach. Shelby County in the house. OG Superfly, I did get your email. I'll be replying. So sorry, I've been busy. Got some bad news in the white car the last couple of days, and members know what I'm talking about. Shit's not good. Jimmer, not the TPS sensor, it's the rod. Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's probably just your throttle body, Jimmer. What do you say? What Pimp say? Bad venting of the fuel pressure. That's what I was just talking about. Okay. So, give me another one. You talk balancer and bolt, because the bolt likes to back out. Injectors, clean the damn injectors. Shit has practically burned down my motors. Oil pump drive shaft, that was a good one from Broken Tool. Valve springs, we just talked about valve springs. I have ruined stock ones. I have actually wore out the trick flow ones that I did after so many years. And we've went as high as 220 to 500 seat pressure. So you know what? we're gonna do, just because we talked about valve springs, because they kind of go hand in foot, we're going to talk about cam dowel pin. So this is one I'm just dealing with yet again. My members all know what's going on. So on your camshaft, when you go to build a motor, and you're going to want to, and you're on a push rod. Okay, say you're on a push rod. You want to build a 302, 306. I don't give a damn what it is. Small block Ford. If you're looking to make 750 to 1,000, if you're looking to make 600 plus, if you order a camshaft, ask the cam builder to double pin it. I have ruined 2 motors because of that dowel pin. And the reason why I ruined them is because of valve springs. I got 2. Naturally, when I put good seat pressure valve springs, like literally solid roller shit, it puts a lot of strain on the valve, on the whole valve train, or like the camshaft and the timing chain or whatever. So the cam dowel pin will shear. It will start to walk. The best way to deal with that is actually 2 ways. One, drill your there's a 3/8 cam bolt that holds your main cam timing gear on. You can drill your cam out and have it set for a 7/16. That does help. Remember, that's only like 45 pounds of torque to torque that in, and it's only a 3/8 bolt. So the pin is only supposed to be an identifier or like an indicator, like for where the cam gear goes. But it will shear. That will move. So best way to deal with that is to double pin it. So this is one thing. If you're gonna do big springs, if you're doing a motor that's got a big turbo, nice big supercharger, whatever, and you start putting some serious valve springs in it, you need to get your camshaft double pin, or you take a chance at shearing it. And if you shear the pin, then you'll bend half the valves in your cylinder head. Hopefully you don't put a hole in the top of your piston. That's some stuff we're kind of dealing with right now. So it's not easy. It's best to be done, to be honest with you, it's best to be done when you buy the camshaft. Just ask your engine builder to do it. And they're going to tell you, no, you don't need it. No, you don't need it. Well, shit. I would still have 2 motors right now if I didn't shear both pins. So wasn't even leaning on it too much. Double pin and link bar lifters. Yep. Well, that's what we have in both our 363 and our 410. We have limited travel link bars. So when you start limiting and you start adding pressure to your valve train, you start putting big lifters in and strong lifters, that shit rolls downhill, boys. So, you billet gear, I got a billet steel gear from Trick Flow with an Irish German chain. It's a really good timing chain set. Then it's just going to go to the next weakest link. And if you're double pin, you're good. You should be good. If your keyway is good on your crankshaft, you're good. It's another thing you're going to want to check out. So dowel pin and keyway for your balancer when you go to change it. So Neo, did you lose any valves? I have no idea yet. On the first motor, yeah, 7. And they were in canal valves too, so they ain't cheap. So they should make some kind of hardened pin. I mean, it is hardened and the pin is tough. Don't get me wrong. But what will happen is your pin it'll just get its ass kicked in that little locator spot, especially if that, if that cam's moving a little bit. You know what I mean? Especially if that cam gear is moving. I mean, the best way to deal with it is just to double pin it. And if you can get it drilled for a 7/16 cam bolt, that's another big plus. If you can't, not a problem. Not a problem. But still, maybe step up to an ARP hardened bolt, over the factory one. That might be a good idea. Definitely something to consider. That's the shit that'll get you in trouble. It's the stuff that we don't need it. No, we don't need it. And then 3 years from now, you do. That's where we were at with my 363. I mean, we started messing with two steps. The car started, I'm going to be honest with you, my white car, when we made this two-step video, we made a two-step video yesterday, like Saturday. The car was absolutely an animal. Absolutely hero passing shit. I was out on the street and we were making test hits and I was just like, gee, I mean, not the full hits, just dialing my two-step in, it was just so good, so good. So I came home and I'm like, I can't believe it. My car's back. Wait till I tell the channel. And I was like, you know what, Dan? Let's just chill out for a little bit. We'll come out tomorrow morning. We'll make sure we'll verify timing again. Nut bolt check the motor. Go out and make another hit. Verify that. Car's running like shit. I couldn't figure it out. And it just got worse to the point that it wouldn't even run. So we're going to be talking a lot about that in our members chat. I'm going to kind of, I didn't kind of give you full details on it, on what happened to the white car, but we suspect that stupid dowel pin. And I guarantee you, when we had that motor built 4.5 years ago, we weren't thinking none of that shit. Do yourself a favor, do it right the first time or do it again. And it doesn't even really cost that much more money. You know what I mean? So you're going to want to make sure that your dowel pin, if you can double pin it past, if you're going to try to make 600 plus, double pin the damn cam gear. Do it. And like I said, I do believe that if you order a custom camshaft, that is an option. I think they will ask you, hey, would you like this double pinned? Yes. Would you like this 7/16 bolt? Yes. Might be a little extra money. Might cost you, might save you a bunch of money down the road. Think about that. I have bent push rods and yeah. So MF Customs is actually, he showed me pictures, but MF Customs is actually, I want to talk real quick. We still are going coil on plug and we got all the stuff. I still need to make the video with the white car, and we're going to put coil on plug in the black car with a stock computer with the EDIS system. I think that's how you say it. But that's going to be like a budget shit that you guys are going to dig. You're going to dig the shit out of that. It's going to be cool. I'll show you where we mount them. It's going to be as cheap as I can do it. I'm not doing the wiring on the channel. If you want to see a video done step by step with the wiring, maybe Dan at MF Customs will do something that I can put up on the channel, that he could put up on his channel, whatever. You got to leave the stuff to the professionals. Dan's been wiring shit up for many years. He actually wired up my white car's Gen 2 harness, which is on sale right now at Anderson Ford Motorsports. So the Gen 2 harness utilizes Ford plugs like Ford IAC, TPS, CTS, a handful of others. So they rewire the IAC so you don't have idle problems. Yeah, so it's a really good mod. It's worth the money. But I sent the harness back to him since he was very familiar with them, and he just wired all my coil on plug in the new harness that we just got done. So it's not only Gen 2 modded, but it's also coil on plug. So that's another option you can do with MF Customs if you do happen to buy Anderson Ford Motorsports 937F Gen 2. That's what that is in my white car. You could probably send it off to Dan and he'd probably charge you, a fee, but he can coil on plug it too and do the same thing he just did to mine. So big shout out to him. I know he sent me some pictures. OG Superfly, man, appreciate the $10 super chat. Appreciate that experience and knowledge, brother. Yeah, so OG just we're gonna be on OG's channel next week, I would imagine. He has a nice Foxbody channel that he up and coming. So I want you guys to go check him out if you would, please. He's also one of our valued members here on the channel. And the guys in green here in green chat, that's how you get that. But I appreciate you, brother. Is my chat lagging here? Sure is. So rockers, I'm not even going to put it. It's funny you say that, Fox Life. You're going to want to check if you got roller rockers on your car, specifically, but not limited to, let me show you, the Cobra. Now, you remember the Cobra ones were made for factory production cars. Well, I take it back. They were made for the Cobras. But here's the thing. This little roller here, you got to keep an eye on this stuff. Like, you got to watch these little rollers. This pin will fall out. This is just pressed in. I've caught, I don't know how many times I've caught this pin almost coming all the way out. And you got to check for wear on your roller rockers. Like, there's wear into here or whatever. Yeah. So I did want to mention that was a good one. That's a good one for sure. Appreciate that, Mark. Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, that's cool. You can stop over on the 10th. Probably won't be putting stuff in at that time. we got a little bit of a problem, Dan. We got a little bit of a problem. I'll talk to you about it offline. But okay, moving on. Valve springs. So timing chain kind of goes hand in foot with the cam dowel pin. Timing chains get their ass whooped over time. Best way to deal, I don't know if I'm going to put that on there. Yeah. Timing chain. So we'll go with timing chain, and then what follows timing chain is going to be pretty important. So timing chain over time, as you make more power, as you put more seat pressure on your damn valves or whatever, timing chain stretches. It's just a wearable item, guys. Just like your tires, just like your brakes, just whatever. Let me give you a little tip and trick. You can go to your distributor and you could take the cap and rotor off and you can move the distributor up and down. We'll talk about that in a second. That's not where I'm going. Take your distributor cap off, leave the rotor on it. Take your half-inch ratchet, little extension, and 15/16 socket, because that's what the stock one is. Or if you have an ARP one like me, you can put the half-inch extension in the middle. Now you move, bring it to top dead center or wherever you can read your balancer at 0 or 10 or 20 or whatever, wherever you can read it at. And move your balancer back and forth and watch your rotor. Like it should move literally with it. There might be just a little bit of slop going back and forth. It is what it is. That doesn't mean you have to replace it right then and there. But that's how many degrees of slop that you have. You literally it should move as you move your ratchet, your rotor should move with it. If it doesn't, you can put your hand on it and move your balancer until it starts to put pressure on your hand, and then move it back and then count how many degrees you got going on. If you have quite a bit, you might want to take that timing chain out. You might want to check the cam dowel pin and make sure you put a new one in. I'm telling you, check the keyword. Just had to deal with that shit. Timing chain stretches. That is just kind of an easy way to check it without taking anything apart. You just watch your rotor button, move it back and forth, a couple inches, just to get some play out of it and kind of read it on the distributor. It'll give you a telltale sign on the health of the inside of your motor of your timing chain. Because you could be losing power through your timing chain because it's lagging behind. Here's another way to do it. You got a stock motor. It's locked at 10 degrees. If it's tuned, it's locked at 12 or 14 if it's not, right? It's got that stupid spout. Remember the spout? You pull it out to time your car. Now, car will still run locked at 14 degrees. Rev the car up, kind of go through your RPM sweep, bring it up to like 1500. See if it stays, let's call it 10 degrees. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever it's showing on your balancer. Because if you have the spout out, it's not going to advance or retard at all, right? So bring it up to 1500, bring it up to 2000, bring it up to 2500, bring it up to 3000. Kind of go through a rev sweep and see if your timing pointer moves. If it starts to move, then it's going to be a little bit of a problem that we're just about to talk about right now. And this is some hidden shit. This is some stuff that it really doesn't take all that much time to check. You don't really have to take anything apart besides the easy cap and rotor shit, right? Basic stuff. And you could check the health of your distributor, your cam gear, your distributor, your distributor, your distributor gear, your time. You could be robbing your motor of horsepower and it not even you not even know it. But the nice thing is you could check it pretty easy. I know I kind of went in depth there, but it's just some stuff that, it's funny how you relearn this shit later. New motors don't really suffer from this, especially ones that are blueprinted, because they're all kind of, mic'd up, ready to go. But engines that's seen some time, engines that's had some abuse like mine, well, this is some shit you might want to check. The price of some of these rockers are pushing 400. At that point, there's no reason not to do a comp program. That's right. Is there a specific water pump that you use? Like a Wien, I think we use a Wien like high flow one. I don't mind the high flow ones. I also, when I put a good water pump on my cars, I also take the thermostat and drill a weep hole through it. I know a lot of people don't like that idea, but all my motors have 2 weep holes through the, some people don't even run thermostats, especially in like race cars, but we still do. How many degrees would you consider too many for a bad timing chain? Anything past 2. If it moves, like, I'm going to be honest with you, if you don't see your rotor move and you see that thing move quite a bit, yeah, you got some slop in that shit. And slop in your timing chain will 100% be loss of power. Listen, my 387, I'm going to let you in on something that I ain't said nothing in the channel, in the video yet. We're going to bring it up. My black car's tuned 387, right? Bad little ass motor, right? Love that shit. I love my 387. Lock it at 10 degrees, right? Because when you tune Mote's quarter horse, you just lock it mechanically at 10, and then you put timing in it, right? No problem, right? So I said to myself, well, it's tuned. I'm going to pull the spout. It's locked at 10. A9L, stock wiring harness. This shit should not move. I went through my rev sweep, and I actually showed this in my video a little bit. I went through my rev sweep. I lost almost 5 degrees on my timing chain, on my timing pointer. I watched that thing go from, I like to cheat a little bit, 10.5. Don't tell Dave. Whatever. So 10.5 degrees to literally almost 6. Like, I watched it as Cousin Paul went right into the RPMs and got up to almost 6,000 RPMs. I watched that thing walk back almost 4 degrees. I was like, what in the actual just happened? So you mean to tell me that my 387's missing 4.5 mechanical degrees in the 6,000 RPM range? Well, no wonder it was falling on its face at 5,200. Anything that gets cheated of mechanical timing is going to jump right off the damn hill. So I didn't mention that in detail because we were going to go into it later, but we're going to go back into the front side of the 387. We may even change the camshaft while we're in there. Just because, we're talking double pin shit, because I'm not playing with this single pin shit no more. 2 motors, same problem. Not dealing with that shit no more. The only reason why my 363 didn't have a double pin in it is because it was built 4.5 years ago and we kicked the shit out of it 4 years. Things wear out. Neo, would you recommend ARP hardware on everything? Not everything. Well, yeah, maybe. Like, if you're building a badass little motor or whatever, main studs, ARP, head studs, ARP, cam bolt, ARP, ARP, oil pump drive shaft. So I guess so. Yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff can stay factory. Timing chain cover bolts, valve cover bolts. I like to run valve cover studs though with the blue gasket. The blue gaskets are freaking expensive. I don't know if y'all are y'all seen them damn the blue ones, the reusable ones. Some things is like $47 now. That's ridiculous. Accurate on them rollers had the same issues. Yep. Only thing robbing my horsepower is an Explorer. Your machine shop guy can check the springs for you. It's worth the peace of mind. Yep. My Speedmaster heads came off good spow springs, 320. Wow. How many degrees? Is there a specific water pump? Yes, specific water pump that you use above, say, 700. Yeah, just like I said, OG, I use like a Wien. I don't get real specific on my water pumps because they're still mechanical. I don't get into the electrical too much, but let me Blue RTV is cheaper along the Felpro paper gasket. Now I've been using those reusable, those $47 reusable ones. They're worth every dime, I guess. Should I've used the one set for like 5 or 6 years, and I've had my valve covers off like I don't know how many damn times. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Got a couple more here, and then we'll give away this banner on Labor Day, baby. Hang on a second. I'm trying to find a link. I did want to show you the car from Magnolia. We did really well. I mean, the car was doing pretty well, but I don't know if I showed you guys that this past weekend. We also are going to be ordering the Anderson Ford Motorsports has a tool set. It's called a Tap-It tool set, and it has big magnets at the bottom of it or whatever. And what it does is it brings your lifter up and it has wing nuts. Brutal showed it on his channel, and you can change camshafts literally on the fly. And all, you just pull your lifters up instead of having to pull your cylinder heads off and whatever. So we were going to do that here on possibly the 387 to the 363, but we're just going to end up pulling a whole damn motor on one of them. So it is what it is. Trying to find a link here. So we do have we got some new colors of some hats, some shit. These were pretty popular. There's the new logo on the hat. I'll put a link in the description. I think it's pretty cool. I think we got green backing and a gray, light gray, blue, black. Mike Johnson at 417 Fox has been doing an excellent job with some of our merch. So that's a link to our merch if you guys want to go check it out. All different types of colors. We're going to be making a new t-shirt. I wanted to talk about this really quick. We're going to be making a new t-shirt that has on the front logo is going to say Gear Bangers, and it's going to have like a gear. And on the back, it's going to say Stick Shift Racing, real big font on the back where the Neo Mustangs usually is. It's going to have the white car from the NMRA race. It's got a couple of really good pictures that Patrick Hill took, so big shout out to him. And at the bottom, it's going to, in cursive, in parentheses, say, there's no money in almost. Now, I think that's a pretty cool little saying. It's pretty good for what we do here. We'll have some little logos and shit. We'll make it in white and in sports gray and different colors, but it'll be kind of a different. Of course, we'll have the flag on the arm, to support the troops and the vets and vets out there. Big shout out to you guys. So if you did serve time in the military, so I'm a big military, big patriot. So got to have that on my shirts from here on out. But I definitely would. I think that would be pretty cool. It'd be kind of a little bit of a different theme. Instead of actually having my name on it, it'll have my car in the back and it'll kind of represent something. And it just, I was running on the treadmill last week, and it's just like, you know what, Dan, there's no money in almost. You need to stop making excuses and get your shit running right. And it's just like, I said to myself, that's a really good saying. Like, there's no money in almost. So, is there anything different you do to help prevent head gaskets from blowing from high horsepower upgrades? Retorquing your cylinder heads. 100% one of the best things you can do. When you put good, like Cometic makes an MLX now. It's a really good, it's a 4-layer. That's what we had in the white car. We were making 24 pounds of boost before we figured out that the timing was all jacked up. Anyways, never really got to utilize what we did with those head gaskets. So once you do a head gasket change, regardless of what it is, it's always really good. I know nobody wants to do this shit because it's extra time. And once you put it together and it runs good, you don't want to F with it, right? Retorquing, there's something to be said about retorquing your head studs, going back over your head studs and putting another 5 in it. You know what I mean? ARP's yield, I think mine are 1/2 inch. I think they say they're supposed to be at like 110. We usually put about 115, 120 on the second retorque. It's supposed to work wonders for, keeping the heads down. So New fasteners are always a big thing to me. Like we just bought new head studs for this damn car. We're going to end up buying new ones. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the ones that are coming off, but to be honest with you, you know, cylinder heads, you know, the gaskets are such a pain in the ass to change that it's just better to just do it. Best head gaskets for an NA motor that you would see a little bit of boost at some point. Straight up the Felpro 9333 PT1s. I've done, you know, those are a steel core. They're like $20 a piece. Run them with some head studs. Like I just told you, torque them to, I think 7/16 85, and then get a couple heat cycles into your motor, break your motor in or whatever, and then go back over and put another 5 in them on a good torque wrench. Should be good to go. Can the high volume oil pump blow out the pressed silver caps behind the cam gear? No. I don't think so. You're talking about the big one? I saw that veteran owned. May have to get one. 100% after brake and retorque. Always retorque. Retorque is huge. Huge, huge, huge. Okay. So timing chain. Let's talk about distributor. We're about an hour in. Let's talk about distributor. So distributor will also is part of your timing components here, right? We're going to talk about distributor gear and walk. So these kind of go hand and foot all together. So distributor gear and walk, you see, it's another one of those easy check things. Take your cap, take your rotor off, see how much, you know, there's going to be a little bit of play up and down. That's okay. There's going to be 10 thou to 50 thou. There's going to be play there. It doesn't mean it's bad, but it's just, if you have excessive play back and forth or up and down, you're going to have an issue. And hang on, my battery saver just turned on. And just like with the timing chains, you can get distributor gear can get wore out. And they're not really all that expensive to change. They're actually pretty easy, to be honest with you. So, and this is the distributor we just took out. And you can see, let me take the rotor off. What I'm talking about right here. Y'all hear that? You can see it. That's not terrible, but this gear was wore out. This gear was walking all over the place. On top of the fact that we had some issues inside of our 363, quite a bit, but that's what we're looking for. This can walk. This could just wear out, this distributor gear. And what it'll do, just like I had told you, it'll take timing away. It'll retard. Like it'll go from, one biggest problems we were having the 363 was when we were doing a static timing check, we would set it to 20 degrees and the shit would walk 8 degrees, 10 degrees. Couldn't understand what the hell was going on. So we put another distributor in. We put a cheapo in that had a good distributor gear on it, brand new. And I noticed when I was setting it down into the motor that it was meshing with the cam gear really good. Like you could feel it kind of twist into the cam gear. And I'm like, wait a minute. I put the other distributor back in and it literally just fell into place. And I'm just like, there was that step. It'll wear a step into the gear. And I think there was a little residual damage from the last timing chain that we put in that was kind of bad. I think it kind of was messing the distributor up. So I think that was kind of premature wear from something that we had done. MSD's not junk. It's always been pretty good for me for the most part. I got a 10-year-old ID box still in my, white car that still works. That's getting replaced anyways. But I had an MSD blaster, the little $20 blaster, $30 AutoZone blaster that's never went out. So MSD does work. So doesn't Excel. Sometimes the shit breaks. I'm just saying. But distributor gear will get worn. And it will walk. and that's where you get your, your timing. Your timing will just start disappearing, and you'll get horsepower loss. The idle like shit. There's so many symptoms that come from that. Can it be rebuilt? Yes. You can put another distributor gear on it. It's not seriously all that difficult. It requires a press, but they're not that expensive either. But it's one of those wearable items, just like a cam dowel pin, that nobody gives a shit about. And in there, it'll cause all kind of problems, and you'll think one problem is the other, and it's not. So let me go through some of this. 3 small 1/2-inch silver caps. Oh, okay. I've never heard of that before. A bit off topic. How much NA horsepower can a stock speed density computer adjust to? It doesn't adjust, but 350 is what we made on the on Dad's car. We made 350 with boost with 19-pound injectors, and we cheated it with 24-pound injectors, but we cheated it with a 19-pound injector, like the disc and the FMU. They are called oil galley plugs, and they could be okay. So yeah, distributor walk. Give me another one. We're only at 7. We'll do a couple more, and then we'll call it a night. That's some good stuff right here. This is some shit that we've been dealing with, like literally, we have been dealing with this like recently in the last couple motors. And this shit is just as significant in a 302 stock bottom end stock motor as it is in a 410 Windsor stroked out. Everything. Some a little, obviously different numbers and different parts. The more valve spring pressure you put in your motor, the more pressure you're going to put on that dowel pin and that timing chain. So keep that in mind. TFI in general. Yep. That's a good one. Good one, Matt, right? TFI. So one of the major reasons why distributor TFIs go out is heat. So TFI is definitely a good one, and it can cause all kind of ignition and idle issues. One thing that you can do with your TFI, if you're still running it and you're not switched to coil and plug yet, is you can do heat sink or thermal, whatever. That shit that they put on. I don't know if y'all ever rebuilt like computers and shit. Like I built 3 or 4 of the one computer I have right now is I built myself. But there's a thermal paste that you put in between the like the Intel chip and when you go to set it in. And that thermal paste, your TFI has to be screwed to the base because that's its ground. It gets hot, and the thermal paste, don't use dielectric grease, use thermal paste. That's what you want to use behind your distributor. Like it's silver, it's white, it's whatever. That shit dries up too over the years. It's good maintenance to pull your TFI off. You don't have to take your distributor out or whatever. It's a couple 1/4-inch screws or whatever. Pull it out, clean it off real quick, put dielectric grease on the 3 prongs that go back into the PIP or the pickup or whatever, and then clean off both sides. And that whole backing of that TFI is metal for a reason, so it can heat sink. So put some good thermal paste on there, and you'll have longevity on your TFI. Yep, the Motorcraft TFI is more durable. Heat sink compound, yep. So thermal paste, heat sink compound, whatever. Don't put dielectric grease behind your TFI. That's not what it needs. Like I said, you can't put dielectric grease behind it's got a melting whatever. Wonder if my stock bottom end 520 wheel been replacing everything. Wonder if my stock bottom end and my stock bottom end and my stock bottom end 520 wheel been replacing everything, still super rich. Checked initial was at 28, retarded it to 12, and not a single thing changed when idling. Ooh. I used Arctic Silver, yep. Would you use GT40 heads on a 331, 347 stroker? Shit, boy. If it required getting my shit off the jack stands, yup. Because that's what we do here on the channel. We don't wait. Like if you got something you got to get put together and you want to try to enjoy your Foxbody, you could always go back and put better shit on. Don't wait for the next best thing. That's not what we do. You know, I don't want to put coil on plug on my white car, but I have to. Do I know how to do any of that shit? Nope. But we're about to learn. Do I need to be learning right now in the middle of the race season? Nope. But we're gonna find out. We're gonna turn around and find out, aren't we? Just the way it is. I've had my time with TFI. I've done a lot of shit with TFI. I've made 1,000 horsepower with TFI, but there's more horsepower on the table and there's more individual tuning that can happen. That's more safe for my motor with coil on plug. So I get it. Point I'm trying to make is if you got GT40 heads and you got a stroker motor, and it's the difference between getting it fired up and driving it in a couple weeks versus having to wait a couple months for the money for some aluminum heads that are stupid expensive to begin with. Send it. Find yourself some heads after you just make sure you got some good valve springs on it, like we were just talking about. Yes, that's a good one. So over time, I'll put that on there, guys. I'll put that on there. I like y'all giving me suggestions for this shit. Okay, so stock fuel rails. Son of a bitch. Fuel rail cross. So what's this mean? There's a tube, okay? I don't know if I have one sitting here. Let me go see if I can find one in the back. I'll just show you. All right, so this is a factory fuel rail. See that? All right, BTG, good to see you, bro. Appreciate you stopping in. This hose is what he's talking about. See it? This thing is covered with a rubber hose. This isn't a rubber hose. This is a plastic hose under here. This shit will catch a car on fire. This is actually one of the top hazards that you can have. At this age, listen, I made the video in a live stream 3 years ago about like the top 10 hazards. We're going to probably have to go back through because we're going to probably add some shit like this because there's been some stuff recently that I found on some of these when I was going through some of these parts that I've gotten at swap meets and from these parts cars or whatever. Like this shit is becoming a problem. This plastic, it's probably all like an orange color at this point from all the old fuel and shit and all the years. But there's a plastic fuel hose under here that can break and crack pretty easy. This one seems to be in pretty good shape. You can kind of get a good idea on how much how much it can still bend or whatever. But like they'll just break. They're brittle at this point. So that's what he was talking about. That's, you know, as we made more power, we went into bigger fuel rails. Another problem with bigger fuel rails, like the aftermarket ones, is the seating. I got to be very careful with the way they seat. Some of the fuel rails require little spacers that go behind the little clips that actually, you know, that actually bolt to the intake. So keep an eye on that shit, man. That stuff, you know, once one of those stupid O-rings, you know, change the O-rings often if you have to on your injectors, if you're pulling them out and cleaning them or whatever. Don't just wing it, because remember, that's 40 PSI right there. That'll spray all over your engine bay and catch that shit on fire in a hurry. What's up, Troy? Good to see you. What's the best distributor to get replace mine? 5.0? MSD is not a bad distributor. It honestly isn't. All the MSD stuff I've had failed. The E-coil was months old and an older 6AL. See, I've had no problem with the 6AL. I haven't messed with the 2 or the digital. MSD is all in China. Yep. It's worked. What's the best distributor to replace mine, which is bad? Bone stock 5.0. Honestly, just rebuild the stock one. Nothing is better than factory if you're staying with basically a factory motor. Like, don't buy all this aftermarket shit if you don't need it. Like, just buy another good factory distributor from, you know, Marketplace or some shit. You know what I mean? Maybe even take yours and put a new gear on it and new PIP, you know, PIP in it. You can rebuild your own distributor. You don't have to buy a new one. We've done a bunch of fuel upgrades. We primed the system before we started the motor, and it was a mess. Could have been a bigger issue. Yup. I have GT40X heads. Is it possible to check valve guides myself? Can they be changed at home? Definitely. It's kind of one of those things, Shelby, that probably just want to take it to the machine shop. It's kind of, you just wouldn't bite the bullet and let them deal with it. Because, you know, at that point, it's on them if it's wrong. You can change guides at home with a press, but like I said, there's an alignment issue there. They have special tools for that stuff. It's not something you want to really learn on. It's the same thing that, you know, the reason why I've sent my harnesses to MF Customs, Dan over at MF Customs, is because, you know, I don't want to learn how to rewire Terminator X, because I'm going to do it like once, right? I know how to rewire a mass air harness, because, I mean, that's a factory harness that has purpose. But my Terminator X is wired to my car. So I do it once. I'd rather a professional do it. This is how we're going to do it. And he can test it and make sure it works. He has the proper tools for all that shit. So when I get it, I know it's going to function correctly. The old 6AL that was US made were indestructible. That's the one I have. That's the one I have in a white car right here. I'm going to be honest with you. I've had that MSD in that car for 15 years. From 300 horsepower to 1,000. Is there a way to make a Fox fuel injection harness standalone to run A9P computer in a non-EFI car? I don't know. I would imagine you could if you just powered the damn thing. Tell it what to do. Shoot, put some E7s and go do burnouts, my man. That's what I'm talking about. He must be talking about the 347 guy. Yeah, man. Get your shit out the jack stands. For sure. Okay, let's give away a banner. I got a couple other things that I'm going to mention real quick that aren't going to be, I'm not going to write them on a board. Head studs retorquing. We talked about that. See, I try to make a little, when I get in the mood, I like to make a little list and shit that we can talk about here. I mean, what are we, an hour and 15 minutes in? I like that shit. So you guys got some questions for me? I know there wasn't a whole lot of people in chat tonight. I didn't really expect to, because it was Labor Day weekend, but I do appreciate you guys. So people with turbo kits, headers cracking, that's always a big issue. As we made more power and motor boost, we've had headers crack. We've had header flanges warp. That stuff just obviously needs to be welded up and cleaned. We've bent stock rods in 351s. We've cracked stock blocks at 302 blocks, and it was from Harmonics, literally from Harmonics, the shitty balancers that we talked about early, which I'm glad we talked about first. Parasitic loss, you know, when we were having issues with batteries, one of the major issues was starting a car and keeping a good charge was our negative battery cable was crusty as shit. People don't even look at this stuff, man. I'm telling you, on my black car over here, we had a crusty ass negative piece of shit, like battery cable, like the negative one. And we replaced it, and it was like day and night for starting the car. It was the craziest shit. So it got to the point, we ain't done the power wire yet. We're going to replace the factory power wire too. So some crazy shit happens with some of the simplest stuff. Also, parasitic loss, if you guys don't know what that is, it's where kind of like your car runs good. It's got 14 volts, and then the next day it's got like 11 because something was on all night. A couple things to keep in mind with that. And that's not really engine related, but your visors have a light in them. Sometimes that stupid little button, terrible engineering. Engineers back 35 years ago hated us with the sun visors and the damn cigarette stupid tray. Come on. Anyways, there's a light in a lot of the visors that you might not even see when you're like, it'll turn on and stay on. And there's a hatch light in the back that's shared with the same sunroof one in the front. That can stay on and you not even know it. There's a glove box. The glove box light can stay on, you not even know it. So there's some bulbs inside the car that'll chew up some battery or whatever. But either that or just remote mount the battery and put a cutoff switch. Like ever since we put a cutoff switch in that white car, I use it every day. Like when I go to park the car, I pop the switch. That means nothing gets power in the car. I like that. I mean, I ain't got to worry about a wire burning our shit down. You know what I mean? So let's give away a backgrounds for sure. Keep that one. Keep that old one. Yeah, I got two of them. I got two old ones. I have a Summit and it says MSD on the. I'm not surprised. Listen, you guys got to understand Summit. I'm not saying that you should go out and buy a bunch of Summit shit, but there's a lot of things like from somebody told me that there's an Australian company that makes the Summit balancer, the trick flow balancer, and one other. And I don't know who that was. I forget what the name was. But Vallejo makes a lot of clutches. Ram makes a lot of clutches for brands that I'm going to keep anonymous. You'd be surprised on how many companies literally just rebrand and repaint their shit. And it's a lot of it. It's a lot of it, 100%. And there's nothing wrong with Summit stuff. But I'm just saying, particular things could be legitimately the same and save you money. I put a Summit balancer on my white car, and it's the same damn balancer. And I'm going to tell you from a reliable source that they laughed at me and they said, listen, you could pay our price or you could just buy this one. It's the same balancer. I'm like, no, it's not. And they're like, yeah, wait till you get it. So I stole cousin Paul's from his build back here. And sure as shit, I put it next to my old beat up trick flow balancer, which we did in the video. And the Summit one was identical. All it was not painted black. And that's some crazy shit. So Nathan, I appreciate the $20 super sticker, man. Thanks so much for helping us out here on the channel. I appreciate you guys that help us out here. I mean, put that stuff towards stuff that we do, stuff that we break, and report back to you what the stuff to do. So I do appreciate you guys. You guys in green, my channel members, I appreciate you guys too, 100%. Been out of the Foxes about 12 years and getting back into them. The old 6AL MSD boxes were much better. Like I said, I got two of them and I refuse to get rid of them. I always wanted to go with like a digital 6AL to do some two-step shit and some rev limiter stuff. But if you start getting into making horse, talking about the ignition box, you start getting into making 600 horsepower or whatever. You start getting into this balancer shit. You start messing with two-step stuff and rev limiter stuff. That stuff is rough on your valve train. So problems are going to come from stuff that the new shit that you start doing to your motor. So. Talking about the 50 ounce. What do you mean? Yeah, all balancers. King bearing and part number stamp. Yes. King bearing's another one. Summit owns Trick Flow. That's correct. Trick Flow's main office is in Summit's thing here in Ohio. You really need to have a valve job done after a guide replacement. Yep. So like I was telling you, Shelby County, I want you to save as much money as you can on your build. But just like this guy just said here, 100%. You really, when guides get put in motors, you should probably have a valve job done to them too, so they make sure they seal. Because you're talking your car will run, right? If the shit's not sealed correctly, it'll still run, but doesn't mean it's gonna run good. You know what I mean? Got to pay to play. That's not fun. All right, so let's go ahead with the hashtag Tremic. Let's give away a balancer. When do you guys think we should give away to real quick? Donnie B hooked us up with a N41 camshaft, brand new in a box. We actually gave away this camshaft once, but ended up getting it back. So Donnie B hooked us up with another one. I don't know when we're going to give that away. I'm gonna give it away before Christmas, obviously. Just trying to think of a special date. Maybe I'll just do it randomly instead of just announcing it and shit. Because you guys that come here in a live chat, it's usually the same 50, 60, 100 people. If I announce it, then I'm going to get a whole bunch of other people that aren't normally here, right? So be one of these random live streams. I'll give that away here shortly too. Like I said, we're behind right now. Damn it. We're not on schedule. I was supposed to have a muffler video for you last week, but that didn't end up happening. So, and I'll explain that shit in member chat and in one of the other videos. So give me a hashtag Tremic so we can fire up this. I'm going to be getting some more though. I'm hoping that I can get a whole nother stack of Tremic banners again at Bowling Green at the end of the month. So that'll be nice to carry us over into the new year. Tremic banner. And, I'm going to go, listen, I'm going to go over there and just start snipping banners and shit. Like, there's so many banner thieves at these damn NMRA places. It's ridiculous. Like, I thought about doing it at Norwalk and I didn't, like a dumbass. I'm going to take my best snips and I'm going to be like, snip, 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 and take them all on Sunday. I don't give a damn. I'm like, it's for my live stream, bro. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to put them in the box. I'm like, oh, look, I got an ARP one or some shit. I want to hook you guys up, man. So, hopefully we'll get some more handling ones too soon. So I do want to make a special thanks to Dave Willis. Dave Willis here on the channel. He actually bought our old 410, and it didn't come at more of a opportune time for us here on the channel because we were able to not only afford the labor and the extra parts for the new 410, but we were also able to replace his stuff. But I did want to make a shout out to him. He did offer for us to use his 410 for the upcoming issues that we have with the white car. I do thank you so much. But we're gonna build that motor. It's gonna be badass for his car. And I couldn't, I'm just not that type of guy. You know what I mean? I appreciate it though. He was it was very cool of him to offer his engine for us. But I think we're gonna be okay with what we got coming up. So, I think we're going to be okay. We got some cool shit coming up. We got some good people behind us. Dave said that, we're going to be okay. We'll see. We'll see when we get that shit out. But big shout out to Dave Willis, man. He's going to get one badass motor, camshaft and all. It's going to be a bad, that one piston that came out of that motor wasn't too bad, but I can't let one of my members and subscribers, have a motor that shit. We sold the one for Lamar. I can't wait to hear back from Lamar. I think he's going to really have a good time with the damn motor he bought from us. So, all right, here we go. Tremic. Y'all know the rules. Let me just go ahead. If you win it, my email is neomustangs at Hotmail. I will need just send me your address. So let's go ahead and skip through and pick. Oh, OG Superfly. There you go. Congratulations, bro. Hell yeah. So we will send you a. Hey, look, Hamlin, you're not all cracked up. I'm just kidding. Congratulations, brother. Hell yeah. Why you say not surprised, Mustang guy? Oh. That's okay. All right. I'm gonna send you one too, Mustang guy. You've been on the channel long enough. You haven't gotten a Tremic one, have you? We should have enough. We should have enough for the end of the month. Just ship me up an email. I'll send you another. I'll send you one, Mustang guy. It's all good. I'm gonna send. I gotta send one to. I'm gonna send the Tremec one to Garrett Leach too, because, like I said, the one banner he got's not in very good condition. So send me an email, Mustang guy. Not a big deal. Labor Day weekend, baby. Yeah. There's not much I can do, guys. I don't really, play set all that well. So I apologize. But we try our best. Eventually, to be honest with y'all, eventually everybody will get damn banner. I don't plan on stopping banners, guys, so don't get upset too much. And I do appreciate those who have won them, to give, other people a chance to. Well, I mean, the hell are you going to do with 2 Tremec banners? I guess it would be cool, but that's why it's kind of nice. It represents the brand, just the banner. It's all good. I'm going to send you one too, so make sure you send me an email, Mustang guy. Thank God you went live 8.5 hours into 9.5 hour drive. Hell yeah. That's cool. Listen, I love talking some Foxbody shit with y'all on Sunday. And I really was on my soapbox. Listen, you can ask Hanlon. We was talking in chat. We were talking in text messages with our friends, Tony and Tess. And I'm like, listen, I am not in the mood. I was just in this funk, bro. The shit was not, I was mad. And I was just tired, man, because of the shit that happened with the white car this weekend. You guys will hear about. Got a lot of work ahead of us. I'm behind on my videos with my black car. I got the video with the mufflers. We did the axle, but I'm behind on my muffler videos. I got that timing chain shit that I was going to introduce you guys to and do that video with the black car. It's just, we're just behind, man. So I went and ran for 2.5, 3 miles, and there's something to be said about that shit. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I came home, took a shower. I had already had the thumbnail and idea for what I was going to do on live stream. And I was like, you know what? We're going to go knock this shit out of the park. And I just want to thank you guys for joining me on a Sunday night, talking some shit, about, 50, 75 of us at peak. Yeah. It made me feel better, man. I like to talk shit. I like to do these types of live streams. The stuff that happens to me, I like to, bring back to you guys, kind of share the experience and stuff like that. So appreciate you guys. You just want to buy. Listen, we may have some Mac. We may give away. Okay, look. Y'all remember that piece of shit white car we brought home? It had Mac mufflers on it. So if you guys want me to give away a set of Mac mufflers, I'll give away a set of Mac mufflers here on the channel. I'll give a damn. I got 3 sets. So the one set's on the black car now, which is about to be Vibrance. I have a set that I'm not going to get rid of because they're a really clean set, but there is a set of Mac mufflers on a parts car that just came into the channel, and I don't know what better to do than to give that shit away here on the channel on a random live. And I'm not even going to announce the shit like I was just talking about with the N41 cam, right? Like, I would rather give back to those who give back to me, who give me their time and talk some Foxbody shit with me here on a random Sunday, instead of making a big thumbnail about it and having extra people in here that shouldn't be in here. You know what I mean? Because I appreciate you guys that are here. So that's a good idea. So what do you guys think about that? I know Pimp wants to. I might as well just give you the damn Vibrance. I mean, you've been talking about wanting them Vibrance, Pimp, for like 6 months. I missed it tonight. Congratulations, OG. Just stopping in to say what's up. Enjoy your birthday. I appreciate you, 860. Appreciate that super chat last week too. I think that was you. So I don't forget these things, brother. I appreciate you. Also, thanks for Handling Motorsports for the 20, OG for the 10, and Nathan Johnson for the 20 super sticker. And this is our store for the merch, but I don't think I can copy paste that again. So go check that guy. Check that out, boys. You become a Mac buff. And listen, I don't know. I mean, it came on a parts car. Like, it's kind of funny that the shit just happened that way. Like, I bought this parts car and he was just like, he's like, well, I only paid like $1,000 for the car. And he's like, damn, the damn mufflers are worth that. And I'm just like, well, first of all, Mac mufflers aren't worth $1,000. Let's not influence that shit. But the fact of the matter is that's going to be, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut the mufflers off. If it's got good flow tubes, then I'll leave them on there. But most likely I'll probably just sell, or not sell, but just chop the mufflers off and give them to y'all. That'll be perfect. That'd be perfect for y'all. It'd be good. So just a random live stream. You don't know. I'm not going to announce shit. You guys aren't going to know when the Anderson cam is. We're just going to be like, you know what? We're going to give away this today. Instead of giving away a banner, we're going to give away a set of mufflers. Domestic U.S. only, please. Because I know sending mufflers to Canada or overseas is going to be a pain in the ass. I ain't doing that. I'll cover the shipping. I'm not worried about that. Neil, you're always killing the content. Thanks for all your hard work. Man, I appreciate that a lot, Anthony. Appreciate that a lot. I mean, I don't get a lot of views, guys. My two-step videos may be creeping in on 2,000 views. I mean, we'll get 5 or 6 or 8,000 views on some cool shit with the 351 stuff and maybe a little racing stuff, but that's just where we're at. I'm pretty humbled to just be here. I'm pretty humble, for you guys just, listen to us talk some shit and being where I'm at. So I'm happy. As long as you guys are happy, I'm happy. We're good. So Mustang guy's been a member for 29 months. That's awesome. Super appreciate it. Make sure you email me, bro. I'm sending you one. It's Labor Day weekend. Let's do this. He'll send you the best sealant, best SiO2 sealant. I'm not sure what that is. Sign them too, Neo. So you want me to sign the banners? Appreciate that, Warren. Yeah, it's definitely a tight community. I mean, Foxbodies are a big community, but what I used to tell Brutal and I used to tell Foxcast, same thing. I'm like, listen, dude, if I get to 50,000, I'm winning. Like, end game. Not now, like years from now. I'm not going to put other shit on the channel just yet. I want to put a lightning on the channel. Sure. I want to step into the lightning truck. Maybe even, but we got the coupe content coming up. We've already made some of it. That's going to be some crazy shit. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm just a pure Foxbody community channel. Like, there's a lot of really good Instagram stuff that I have that has nothing to do with Ford Mustangs. It's just a car guy shit. And I've done really well on Instagram with that stuff. But I kind of backed off on doing all the old cars and all the old stuff that I used to have fun with on Instagram because it started doing more work on Instagram than I was on YouTube just to try to keep up. And it just wasn't worth my time. You know what I mean? Versus doing this stuff. So nice, Larry. That's big. Awesome. Hey, Neo, I love your content. I would like to see if you have any information about transmission repairs and upgrades for a T5. So I love your content and would like to see if you have any more information. So what information are you looking to get, Jesse? You know what, Mustang guy, if I would have started, like, I had this channel. I have an old Foxbody channel. My channel's probably almost creeping in on 20 years, 18 years old. It's old. But I didn't actually start making content. Like, I used to use YouTube. Like, you guys remember the photo bucket bullshit? Like, where you could upload, like, videos when you wanted to sell something? Like, I used YouTube for that. And I never deleted any of my shit. Like, it was some like the oldest videos. It was dumb as shit. And it was like, iPhones didn't have really good quality just yet. They weren't near what they are now. So, you had to do stuff on like a camera. And then you had to take this big old SD card out and you had to put it in your, whatever. You guys get what I'm saying. It was a pain in the ass. It's not nearly as easy as it is now. So, I mean, I do appreciate that. I wish I was at 100K, but it wouldn't really matter. I think subscribers is just a number. It's just a potential reach when you upload a video. I think the content's got to be rich. I think it's still got to be good. Like I put stuff out on Instagram all the time. I got 120,000 on Instagram and it's, it's bare minimum stuff. It doesn't go viral ever. But if you look at everybody else's stuff, I mean, it's kind of like that all the way across the board. 1 in 20 will go, you get some good views. And I just think that's just the algorithm. So I appreciate that, David Smith. I'm restoring my parents' Fox that I remember riding around in as a kid. I need all the content I can get. Yours is great. I appreciate that, bro. Hell yeah. My brother has a nasty nitrous Ford powered Fox and he's heading towards a turbo Coyote. Listen, Coyote is where, I'm going to always pretty much be push rod. We're putting a push rod back in the coupe for now. Since we got the aluminum 351.95 deck motor, yeah, that's a badass unit right there. That's a badass unit. So that's where we're headed to with the coupe. Coyote swap is definitely not something out of the ordinary that we're still thinking about doing. Now, you remember, Cousin Paul's got that clapped out coupe. So what I've decided, and I haven't really told anybody, it's the end of the live stream, so it doesn't really matter anyways, is I think that's the motor we're going to put in Cousin Paul's car. I think we're going to put that junkyard Coyote in Cousin Paul's car. We're going to try to do it as budget as possible. Coyote motors are starting to come down in price as far as like Gen 1 shit. So I'm not super worried about blowing it up. But I think we can make, 375, 400 wheel in that motor and make that car super budget and ugly that it could probably potentially run 1050s or some shit. He can plenty of shit to get him in trouble. So I think that's, that would be good content. Instead of putting another push rod motor in his car, we're going to put that damn motor. Because it was $300 and he's the one who pulled it anyway. Troy, shoot, what happened here? I appreciate that. Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to do, Scott. I think that's what we're going to do, chat. Because what else am I going to do with that motor? I know it's got its limit at 700? All right, so we'll be nowhere near there. That's an old truck motor that was found in a wrecked truck. If we put that shit in a clapped out coupe, he'll be able to run the shit out of that motor for years. I mean, oil pump gears, whatever. We just put it in. How about we just drop it in and beat shit out of it? It was $270, $296. That's how much that was. That'll make some good content. Do I plan on making a switch to Coyote? Probably not. If I was to switch to another motor, Coyote's definitely like a Voodoo one, maybe. We got a couple Voodoo cores that we could put in. But like I said, with that 351 aluminum block that we got, it's an $8,000 block. Not that money means anything, but it's strong. Like it's stronger than a Coyote block. I don't even know if I'd even say that anymore. Shit. But regardless, it's still push rod. I can still make 2,000 horsepower in a stick shift car, which is way too much. We're only looking to make 1,000 in the coupe and making that shit work. There's something to be said about making a whole bunch of horsepower, but if you can't get it to the ground and you can't go A to B, then it's useless. So I'm gonna build my coupe and make power enough to go really fast, and then worry about that shit later. So off topic, what are your thoughts of carbon fiber fenders and front clip? If you're looking to race, and lighten the car up for that reason and go fast, well, definitely would do that. But outside of that, I would just stay with stock style fenders. Just don't LS swap. I don't hate on any LS stuff. Like there's some really good, some of my good friends have LS swapped IROCs. They have LS swapped Foxbodies. They have LS swapped trucks. So that's not lie. LS came out with like one of the best production cylinder heads out of the junkyard you can get. Can you put them on a 351 Windsor? Yep. But it does require some shit to fix it. So keep that in mind. Like you can put certain LS heads on a 351 Windsor with some machine work and make it work, but I ain't doing that shit. First gen Lightning. Yep. So that's what we're talking about was the first gen. If I brought another vehicle to the channel, it'd be a first gen Lightning. 100%. And the first mod that we would do, what's the first thing we would do to it? If I brought a first gen Lightning 351, whatever, to the channel, what's the first thing I'm doing to it? Let's see if y'all get this right. What's the first thing I'm doing to it? No, not exhaust. 387. Nope. What's the first thing I'm doing to it? Yeah, LS can make some serious power for sure. No turbo. Nope, supercharged. Come on. No wheels. Come on, y'all. I'm disappointed right now. I'm disappointed. Nope. No boost, no wheels, no Whipple, no turbo. Not yet. What's the first thing I'm doing when it gets home? Not Godzilla. Y'all thinking way outside the box. What do they not have? What do they not come with? Come on. Man, Gabe. He said turbo. Not Godzilla. Yes. Yep. I don't know who was first. Drive it, definitely drive it. Stick shift. We would manually swap the transmission. There you go. There we go. I ain't driving no automatic. T56. Nah, it wouldn't be a T56. We'd probably put we do have an extra T56 for one of our cars, but probably TKX swap it. 100%. That'd be the first thing I did. But I mean, outside of all the other stuff, like we'll put a supercharged nitrous turbo kit Whipple thing on it all at once. Yeah. But I would definitely, I think you guys would like it. I mean, it's pretty much a Foxbody truck. Even Rabbit said that. Rest in peace, Rabbit. But he said that in like one of his interviews. He's like that the Gen 1 Lightning is basically a Foxbody truck. That's basically what it is. It's pretty dope. So speaking of TKX, it's pretty easy swapping a Fox. Yes. Manually swap, baby. We put gears in it. We put a TKX in it. Shit. We would race it, but it wouldn't be a race only truck. I mean, it would be like the black, like the black car. You know what I mean? We might do like the bucket seats and get rid of the bench. I think it still has the bench in it. Or am I wrong? I don't know. It's been a long time. But it would have to be. I mean, I guess I don't care what color it would be as long as I got a pretty good deal on it. But red would be, preferred. I don't know what wheels I'd put on it though. But I've been thinking. You could tell I've been thinking about this shit for a while, haven't you? Yeah. Stick shift swap. My buddy Tyler Garlock stick shift swapped is it second gen? Is it second gen? Early 2000s? It had the Triton motor in it. Is that right? Whatever. He stick shift swapped that. It was pretty good. So anyways, I do appreciate you guys. What did Jesse say? What you got? I need to repair my T5 and want to upgrade some stuff while I'm inside there. I've rebuilt 6-speed automatic transmissions, but never a manual. So get with Hanlon Motorsports, Jesse. If you go to rebuild your T5, for years I have been buying the billet countershaft support plate stick. It's got countersunk like bolts, like hardened bolts and shit. One of the biggest problems with T5s is they flex. It's pretty much the same problem that 3550s suffer from. And it's the reason why TKXs are kind of stronger than normal, because the TKX has the same platform style transmission that a T56 has. And it's almost like, I don't know, there's another one with a T10 or some shit that it mimics. But platform meaning that it's built, if you were, the way they take a T56 and a TKX apart is literally they stick it up on milk crates with a hole in it. It's a platform. So you take it apart and you pull all the shit off, and the whole main shaft and everything sits on a platform. Whereas a T5 is a normal, you know, main shaft, tail shaft, whatever. But the billet support plate does help. It's worth the $40 because it helps keep the cluster from flexing too much. Putting a good cast iron or cast steel retainer in the front, a little heavy duty, keeps that part of the main shaft from flexing in the front. Regardless, you only got so much time. You know, the third gear is the one that breaks all the time, whether it's TKX or excuse me, whether it's TKO or T5. The third gear is the smallest of them all, and it takes the most abuse. So if you want to beat shit out of your T5 and your TKO that you still have, be nice to double clutch third a little bit. You know, be nice to third gear. You know, well, fourth gear input shaft is the smallest or whatever, but it's a 1-to-1 drive gear, so it takes a little less abuse than the third gear. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, first gens are awesome. Anyways, Black Lightning to match the black car. That's exactly what we would do. Is we would if it was a black one, we would like match the two. That would be pretty dope. Black wheels, like 18s. We'd put like 18s or 19s on it. Nah, I don't know. That's too big. I don't know. Whatever fits the truck. It'd be cool for sure. Yeah, Jesse, that's cool. Just check out the he sells the cast iron, cast steel. What is that? Like the retainer. I don't know what it's made out of, Hanlon, but he sells that and get the counter shaft. You see what I'm talking about? The counter back here. Because I mean the front race is going to keep it from moving. But the back counter shaft, like support plate, and then like the front retainer kind of keeps that shit all together. Because there's going to be case flex anyway, or whatever. So all right. Anyways, guys. All right. So I hope I helped you guys this weekend. Appreciate you guys for stopping in. Get your shit up to jack stands. Closing in on 10:30. Shit, it's been almost 2 hours. Give you guys an idea what happened to the white car. We broke it. We broke it pretty good this time. You know, I kind of been avoiding saying anything and shit, but you know, I like to talk some shit in some live chat. So we broke it pretty good and ran really good last weekend at Magnolia for the most part. Car hasn't been right for a while. So the only way to make shit right is to start over. And we're going to be thrashing this week with the white car hardcore. And I share this shit with you guys and I share it with my members. It's a pretty sad scenario, but I now have less than a month to basically rebuild a whole motor and coil unplug it. So we know the car works. We got a lot of shit to get off our jack stands. And the same stuff that I tell you guys here in the channel to do is the same stuff that eats at my brain every night when I go to bed. You got to get your ass up in the morning. I got to get out there, you know, when I got time that day and crack that motor open and get it taken out. So Dave said he's going to take care of us best he can. And we're going to make it happen. We got to make NMRA. We're tied. We're not tied, but we're pretty much tied for the stick shift ring championship. And it gets decided at an NMRA in Bowling Green at the end of this month. So that's something that I got to make sure that I lock in and laser focus on. Yeah. So anyway, I will see you guys next week. We might give away some mufflers. We might give away a camshaft. We might just give away a banner. Anyway, you look at it, I'm sure I'll see the same guys here, and I appreciate you guys for following along. Get your shit out the jack stand. Stay motivated. We will get to the black cars, the vibrant mufflers this week. So Pimp, we'll be giving those away soon too. I know you've been wanting them. Shit. I know. But you guys have a good one. I appreciate you for watching. We'll see you this week's video. Thank you for making a live stream wonderful.